At the storm system track into the northeast. New York City in play. Not today. Today looking good. 43 degrees. You can see the blue sky overhead, all the skyscrapers. But as we move through the late hours of today and especially overnight into tomorrow, we've got winter weather in play. Now, New York City, you're right on the fringe of the wintry weather. You can see to the south of town, that's where we don't have any advisories. But winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories in effect around the New York City area and then up through the northeast and New England states. So really I-80 northward in Pennsylvania, a lot of New York, a lot of Massachusetts, parts of Connecticut and Rhode Island also in play. Where we see that lighter shade, that light lavender color, that's 5 to 8 inches of snow. So could get a solid half foot in a lot of these areas. Some spots from northeast PA into parts of New York could be looking at up to a foot of snow. You can see lesser amounts as we work closer to Boston. So we're going to lose some of our energy and we're going to lose some of those accumulations the farther east that we go. So actually, I think western and central Mass will see higher amounts than Boston. Negligible accumulations there around the Boston area. And again, with temperatures kind of right around or just above that freezing mark, we're not going to see huge accumulations or problems on the roads. Here's a look at the radar. You can see some of that wet and wintry weather beginning to advance into extreme western parts of PA and New York. As we move through the afternoon, you can see that snow begins to work through parts of Pennsylvania. So beginning to advance into a place like Scranton, Wilkes-Barre for the dinner time hours, Binghamton and Syracuse as we move towards the evening and overnight. And then tomorrow morning, again, snow coming down in Boston with a temperature of 32, 30 in Hartford, 37 in New York. So again, not super cold. Hartford is going to be easier to pick up that snow. Same for Albany than a place like Boston where temperatures actually climb into the mid-30s by late morning and afternoon hours. Tomorrow we get into Wednesday and you can see the system has moved out and temperatures again still just above freezing in a lot of spots. So I think for many areas it's a grassy accumulation thing except for interior spots. Well, as we count down to the 2023 hurricane season, a new report released today paints a dire picture for coastal residents in the future, with over 13.4 million new properties to be exposed to tropical cyclones in 30 years.
For more, let's bring in Matthew Eby, founder and CEO of First Street. Matthew, it's always great to talk to you. You know, for a lot of folks that might be in hurricane-prone locations, I'm sure it's going to be a little alarming for them. What's the biggest takeaway, the practical takeaway for people that live in harm's way or may in the future live in harm's way?
And Matthew, I want to talk a little bit about the Northeast. Now, you've already mentioned, and we've seen it as well, that the hurricanes are getting stronger proportionally, and they're getting a little farther north. So that raises the alarm bells for places like the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. But in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, we had a lot more hurricanes hitting the Northeast than we did in this most recent active era. We've kind of been fortunate. So in addition to climate change, couldn't a return to the busy period of the 40s, 50s, and 60s in the Northeast
this afternoon in the Midwest? Well, Winter Storm Piper blasted the west, Southern California in particular, with feet of snow. That includes Lake Arrowhead, just 80 miles from Los Angeles. That's where we find Justin Michaels, where the dig out has begun. Justin, I was watching you over the weekend. Be a minute. And again, you want that slow melt off. That's ultimately ideal for the water supply. Justin, it looks like a winter wonderland there. Hopefully everybody is enjoying it like that woman you interviewed. Good times, you know, and more wintry weather still yet to come. Of course, we've got Winter Storm Piper that brought them all that snow, bringing the storms today to parts of the Midwest. But now water vapor imagery showing our next system wound up across sections of the West. This is Winter Storm Quest, bringing snow to parts of California, Oregon, Washington today. And we've also got rain again around San Francisco. That'll work into the LA area as well. So more rain coming to those areas that were like, what is this coming down? I mean, some big rainfall totals, over 4 inches in Beverly Hills as we went through last week and into the weekend. Snowfall still to come, 3 to 4 feet across portions of the Sierra Nevada. Plenty of areas on the order of 12 to 18 inches for interior sections of the West. And again, rain continues across western parts of California closer to the